Hi, everyone. This is The Walking Dead Season 9 Shocking Death Predictions. I am your host, Killshot, and you, of course, are the 999 Army, the baddest, most awesome group of Walking Dead fanatics in all the land. Thank you for being here tonight. This is a Monday night, and we are going to kick it up a notch. We're going to have some fun with this. This is one of the ones that we do every year. And in fact, we do a couple updates to these death predictions throughout the season because they're fun. They're fun to kind of pick who's going to live, who's going to die. That really is, I think, other than some of the character development, that's really what got me into The Walking Dead, is figuring out week to week, like, who's going to make it. Tonight, we're going to do a couple ones that you're probably going to say, okay, yeah, it's obvious. But then we're going to throw a couple curveballs and get some bold predictions for the death. So I want to hear just some of the things, the potential storylines you think could go down. And I've got one tonight that'll be a little bit surprising. I don't know if it'll happen this way, but I'm just going to throw it out there because the worst thing that can happen is I can be wrong. So who cares, right? Let's get this thing going. Do want to give a shout out because I see some super chatters already rolling, getting this thing going. Valar says, hello to the 999 Army. Kill Steph, Emmy, Kels, Bree, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, patrons, and of course, all of the super chatters. And if you guys aren't familiar with some of the super chatters, anytime you guys super chat, it'll highlight the color on the screen and we'll stop what we're talking about and we'll talk about your comment. Also, I see we've had Steph the Cuervo Queen kind of doing a little vacation stuff, so you can see her in the chat helping out as well. So thank you, Steph. The other moderators and the whole crew is here. So let's get into what we know and what we think we know and who knows. We're just going to throw it out there. So spoiler, if you guys do not know this as of yet, the first death prediction I think is going to be relatively easy. That is, it's not even a prediction, it's a confirmation. Gregory is going to go. So Gregory is either going to go in episode 1 late, but more than likely it's going to be episode number 2. So no real shock there. But there are a couple other deaths that I do want to really elaborate upon. And keep in mind, they're at a pretty good number at this point. There's not so many actors on set that they got to kill off a whole bunch of them. So I know a lot of times we're going in, we're thinking 10, 12, 13 people are going to die. So I'm going to get back to that in 1 second because we do have a super chat, because I'm going to ask all of you for a prediction to sort of get our feet wet. So Don Machiavelli says, went to Sacramento event. Carl may be right. Carl is right, Don Machiavelli. I think Rick just needs a break. He needs to spend some time with family. I'm down with that. So thank you for that super chat. And we talked about it a couple hours ago. So if you guys missed the video, Chandler Riggs did say he was surprised by the fact Andrew was leaving the show, but also did say that it's he just needs to spend some time, watch his kids grow up, and hang out with them a little bit. We all need to do that, right? I guess I don't have kids, but if you have kids, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is there are 16 episodes. I want you to think about, if you guys want to use that all-important budgeting word, I know a lot of people think Walking Dead's super cheap. How many deaths? So let's put everybody on the spot. If you guys are new to 999 streams, you participate. This is all about you. I'm hosting, but I am looking at your comments. I want to read what you guys say. I want your comments to be a part of this video. So how many deaths are you going to predict over 16 episodes? And these are major deaths. I'm not talking about stand-in saviors or walkers. Let's talk about major characters only. So Brian McAndrew says 8. Ron Burgundy's going on the light side, says 4. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I've got 6 and then some saviors we'll talk about in 1 minute. Sorry, I got 7. I have 7. And I'll go through the 7 in 1 second. So we've got Fluff says 4, Evil Skull 5, BK says 3, Paul 5 to 6, 3 deaths, 4. All right, so we're all. Deborah on the high end says 8. Bumblebee Brown says 7. I'm right there with you. Cindy Propusic. Cindy, if that's right, just give me a quick 999. If it's totally wrong, just maybe do a LOL or something. But I do want to say Also, special shout out. We've got the Patreons over there, but also our newest supporter of the 999 channel is Cindy P. So maybe I said it right. If I didn't, otherwise, CP. Super chat time. Let's get to Jimmy's Jammin'. So Jimmy's Jammin', and the statement is, I hope they will leave an opening for Andrew to come back if he's just taking a break. Accent on the first syllable. Pry? Prip? Pripuchits? You know what? Let's just Cindy P. We're going with that. I'm gonna look online at some speech emphasis. CP, our newest patron supporter. Thank you so much. Let's get to Jimmy's Jammin'. So Jim, how do you guys feel about that? Leave an opening for Andrew. The more we talk about it, the more I think people are accepting it. The problem is this. I don't want to give a lot of people false hope. And I know as soon as this news came out, we were streaming. So me and several of you, and you know, I don't know at this point. I know it was our stream. So it was the 999 Army that immediately went out and said, this is what we think is going to happen. So there are a lot of people out there streaming that are definitely, and a lot of people that are writing articles that are standing beside the Rick death 100%. A lot of us in the 999 Army are not. So I don't want to give anybody false hope. And just because we're talking about it on an everyday basis, I think sometimes the more you talk about it, the more logical it sounds and the more it makes sense. But we don't have confirmation of it. So don't put your heart into that prediction just yet. I put my heart into it so I can be disappointed. I just don't want a whole bunch of the Army and a whole bunch of our subscribers just to be crushed. And I hate kill shot. That ass said that Rick was going to live and he's not going to live. I'm just going with what I feel would be a good story and a good opportunity for the writers. Okay, there, I've said it. Now I've got the disclaimer out there. Disclaimer is in full effect. Okay, we got another super chat here. Captain Crawfish, who, if you guys missed the stream last night, was not promoted to Admiral. He is still Captain Crawfish, but we still love him all the same. Okay, here's my bold prediction. Rick will take Michonne's arc and will go pirate and find his brother in the process. May take a full season and a half. You know, I'll give you that. I'll definitely... Let's see what the group thinks. Crawfish, here's the only thing I would ask with that. And we'll see what the group thinks to your bold prediction. What happens to Michonne and Judith in the process if that happens? That's the only part of it that I have some concern with. So, Paul, here's the question. OU Crawfish says Rick will leave and take Michonne's pirate arc, and he'll find his brother in the process. So we got some possibilities out there. All right, we got some people that like that. I just need to iron out some details. I don't see Rick leaving Judith, and I don't see Judith dying. Dakota Page says, I'm down with that. Joey, I don't disagree that she's a fan favorite, but she could film another Black Panther. She could film another Avengers movie. Give her a little bit of time. Give her a year as well. That's why I think they're kind of one and the same at this point. I cannot see them being split up, and I just don't think they'll kill one or the other. I got a feeling at this point that Rick and Michonne will be there till the end. Hold on one second. I got another super chat, and then I'm going to ask you guys a couple more questions here. So I do want to read this statement. This is a great statement. I love these. I love these type of comments. Actually, I like all your comments, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it's a very passionate group. And with that, Chukala says, thank you all for being so passionate about The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. You make me feel less of a nerd in real life. You know what? There's nothing wrong with nerds. So, random question. This is not random things. How many of you out there would consider yourself a nerd? There you go. See? That is a Super Chat Spotlight follow-up question. Steph's like, forget your question. Where's drama? Where's drama? you guys crack me up. Okay. We got a good balance. Lenore says nerd here. Haiti Badoon, nerd. Gina Crockett, not me. Several. Stefanella. Okay, just as a follow-up, because I don't want to get too far off track, but I got to ask the question. You guys have done streams with me for a year, 2 years. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you guys rank me on the nerd scale? I just want to see some of the individual rankings. 1 being not a nerd at all, 10 being Emmy Bacon school of nerdism that I exceed expectations. Oh boy. And just so you know, you guys are a permanent part of this video. So wow, I'm tipping the nerd scale pretty well. It's all good. I proudly accept my fate. All right, moving back. Let's get back on topic. So we're doing shocking death predictions tonight. So some will be bold, some will be shocking. Gregory, we know it's going to happen, right? Oh, I love it. Dwayne Sharp says 999. Yeah, Paul Engel too. We got a couple 999s up there. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 deaths that I'm going to say are going to happen simultaneously and are going to change the whole storyline. So this is my super shocking, bold death prediction. All right, so here it goes. And I think these are going to be whisperer deaths. And I know we'll go back in 6 or 7 months and you guys are going to say, Kills, you weren't even close on those. 3 foreshadowing deaths created by the Whisperers. Here it goes. My big 3. Heads on stakes. Maggie. Aaron. And this hurts. This hurts my heart, hurts my soul. Rosita. Oh, man. You know, I was about to start saying and the words just went back in. I think they're gonna mix us up a little bit with storyline. I got a feeling something is going to go down between these 2 groups. Well, Lonnie, I don't feel like it's going to be Ezekiel. I feel like this Ezekiel Carol romance is going to happen. Ron, it hurt. It hurt for me to say that. Deborah Mooney says Tara instead of Rosita. Deborah, I was going to say Tara, and I'll tell you why I didn't. Because there's been so much shade and so much hatred toward Tara. I think at this point, it is a game to keep her alive longer than other people. I really do. The writers listen to us. They're in tune with social media. They know what kind of riles us up a little bit. And don't get me wrong. I love Rosita's character. I think the story is winding down. Rial, I don't know. I don't know if Rosita has a big place going forward. As much as I like her character on the show, I could see Maggie, Rosita, and Aaron being the big three. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm keeping some of the other ones alive. And here's part of it, is there is a conscious effort to deviate the story. I'm reading more and more articles about what Scott Gimple's saying, what Angela Kang is saying. I'm not giving you conjecture. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of stuff. Somebody posted something on one of our sites just a little bit ago and says, Maggie's leaving the show. They're going to recast somebody who played a Walker. And there's no confirmation. There's no news release with AMC that's out there. So that is not anything to get fired up about. And in fact, I'll probably take it off the 999 Army page because I don't even know where it was generated, where it came from. Looks like somebody just typed it up and sent it out. So I got a feeling if they don't do a last-minute deal and re-sign Maggie for the second half, I got a feeling her death is going to be the thing that shifts the plot this season. So Lisa Bradley, that's another one. Now, you guys got some of the kill shot predictions in there. Some of you mentioned 4 deaths, 6 deaths, 8 deaths. If you can, remember the number that you typed, and as close as you can, tell me which characters you think are, in your mind, as good as dead. So Brian McAndrew's already getting started. He says Father G, Maggie, and Aaron. I'm going to give you Father G, Brian, but I'm going to talk about what I think will happen with Father G in a little bit. But I don't think he'll make it past this season. That is one of my 7. So, Candy Lover Girl. She says, Maggie, yes, Aaron, no. He's supposed to be a love interest for Jesus. Not confirmed, though. That's something we've speculated for a long time. But there's no confirmation that Aaron and Jesus will officially become a couple. We just think that. Fluff says, Gregory. All right, Gregory, give you Maggie, Father G, and Sherry. I got Sherry on my list as well. E. Beach, Jesus. Ooh, that's a different one. Father G, Tara, Rosita, Maggie, Gregory, and Michonne. Michonne, I think, would be a complete shock. Willani, Maggie, Eugene, Gregory. Maria says Ann, Jadis, Father G, and Aaron. So, Brian, Rosita getting Father G's death. So, to the comic book fans out there, I have not read this far in the comic. However, about a year and a half ago, I did some research on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Father G was apparently up in a water tower or a lookout tower, saw the Whisperers coming, was climbing down and fell and got his leg caught, and the Whisperers wrecked him after that. Is that correct? I want to make sure that I'm correct with that, with the Father G. Okay. Well, here's the thing, okay? If you might be onto something, that someone else could get that death, because it's unlikely that Father G, with his eyesight situation, is going to be doing a whole lot of looking out. So I am not opposed to a prediction that someone will get Father G's death. And Rosita could be up there with a gun on lookout. Yeah, I think you might be onto something there. All right, I'm going to throw this out to the group. Let's follow up. This is Brian's bold prediction. Do you think, based on that scenario, that Rosita, instead of getting the head on a pike, could get Father G's death? And if so, who could we substitute in for Rosita? Maybe Alden? How about Alden, Maggie, and Aaron? What do you think about that? That would give you 3 Hilltoppers. And then you keep the blind priest alive, kind of like Daredevil. See how long he can dodge the walkers. I'm gonna ask the group this, because I see a comment from Lisa Bradley, and she says too brutal for a female. So fictitious characters on The Walking Dead. Because I want to single that comment out. I don't want to make it like a super long debate, because this is death predictions. Do you feel that there is a conscious effort by the writers and to appease maybe the television audience that the deaths are more violent for the males than the females? Brian says no, but I want to stop and think about this for a second. And I know a lot of people saying yes are females, because I know. And a lot, not totally, but it does appear as more of the males in the audience. And if you guys are watching the playback, like I said, I don't want to get too political or open up debate, but I do think it's a relevant conversation. So Spencer's death. That was, Denise got shot through the eye. That's pretty brutal. So Denise is one that we could definitely analyze a little bit. But Olivia was kind of quick and random. Beth was pretty brutal, but then you had Spencer, then you had Abraham, then you had Glenn, then you had the iron to several people. So I think that's more of a philosophical debate for a little bit later on, and I would definitely entertain that one of our streams. But I do think Herschel, I do think the men's deaths they're a little bit more. They're a little bit different level. It's not to say there's not some pretty severe female deaths on The Walking Dead, but I think we would agree that the men probably slightly more. Sasha's death was like drinking a light beer And Glenn's death was like 10 shots of tequila. I mean, there's no comparison between those two. Sasha's was definitely mild, in my opinion. Anyway, food for thought. Just something to think about as we do talk about the deaths for season 9. Because if 2 out of 3, the head's on a stake, or female, that would be interesting. Now, we can debate which 3 people. Let's say Father G gets Rosita's death, or Alden, or somebody. Maybe Aaron, Maggie, and somebody else from the hilltop. I need a bold prediction. Will we see the heads on a stake, or will we see any part of that take place? Think about that for a second. Will we see some type of ritual? Will we see some type of violence? Will we see something that makes us start to begin to hate this group like we've never hated a group before? That the torture and the decapitation of some of our favorite characters could just anger us to a different degree. Just curious. No right or wrong to this. I'm just... So, a couple of sponsors you can see chiming in. Jason says we'll see something ritual. Valar says they need to come in vicious. So, if this goes down, if we see the Whispers on a different level, this is not something that you villainize and then humanize. This is not something you make Negan dark and then you make him a hero. This is something that we could have a true enemy, a despised enemy, a powerful enemy, something that is so bad that it has to make people come together. And the question's going to be that whether or not we see the Whispers around the mid-season is going to dictate how many of those death predictions that you guys are correct on. All right. I'm going to give you a couple more. So I'm going to say that we get closure to Sherry and Heath. I think the Sherry and Heath will be the first clues that are out there. I think Dwight is going to find what he's looking for. I think Dwight will probably be the one to discover Sherry. I think Dwight's going to want revenge. Now, there have not been, I think through the first 5 episodes, I do not think Dwight has been seen filming. And if so, they could go back and sort of get him in the mix. But remember, Dwight's an outcast. He can't go back to Daryl. But something is going to make Dwight get to a point where he doesn't care whether people like him, they don't like him. No, I don't think Dwight on a stick. I think Sherry and Heath. Here's why that makes sense, okay? And Dwight toughened up at the end of the season where he really wanted to stand against Negan. David Brooks your prediction that Negan will escape from his cell and decapitate Alpha, there's probably zero chance that's going to happen this season. Because we haven't even got to hate Alpha yet. So, if we haven't been introduced to the Whisperers and we haven't been introduced to Alpha, it's going to be a while, I think, until that could even go down. Might even be sometime in season 10. I would be shocked if they introduced the Whisperers and already killed the leader of the Whisperers in the same season. So let me give you why I think this Heath thing works, and this Sherry thing, and this Dwight thing. Okay, Dwight has been told in so many words, you go out there and find her, but if I ever see you again, I'll kill you. That was Daryl. So, unless Dwight is going to go back and partner with Daryl, which could still happen, that was kind of my bold prediction last season. Hasn't happened yet. But if Dwight loses everything, I could see him rolling back up on Daryl and saying, you want to kill me, but Sherry's dead and there was this other guy was with her. Or Dwight could go back to Rick and assume that it's one of Rick's people and say, Sherry's dead and one of your people was dead also, and Tara would probably recognize that to be Heath. So if Tara was a part of that, then that would push along Dwight's storyline. So I'm going to say somewhere along the way, once we get this Gregory thing passed, I'm going to say this Sherry and Heath thing is the prelude before we get to Maggie, Aaron, and Rosita. Exactly, Mitch. So once Dwight loses Sherry, I think you're going to see a different Dwight. Well, Dolores, here's the thing. Like, he doesn't know it's one of Rick's, but he could definitely make the assumption that Rick's lost some people, or that could come up in conversation. Rick's got a lot of people out there. So if it's local and he doesn't recognize it as one of the saviors, then I think deductive reasoning, he could say, could be Rick's group, could be Hilltop, could be the Kingdom, but there's a person missing. Also, Dolores, one thing that I do want to say is there is spoiler information out there that the RV will come into play. The RV that Heath and Tara had. So maybe that's a description, what he's wearing, hairstyle, any of the above. Won't have his glasses. We know his glasses are broken. Or Dwight could lead them to him. Dwight could see the people there and tell Rick where the group is. Could tell Daryl where the group is, or where the heads are. I don't know if Dwight wants to go back to it. If Sherry is there, I don't know if that's something he's going to want to see. But I feel very, very strongly that Sherry and Heath, we're going to get closure. And I'm going to say this once again. Heath lost his glasses, and you may think it's a minor detail, but I just don't think that a group found Heath and then they're going to fit him with some contacts. I think that Heath's glasses and the fact he was taken signifies Heath has probably been tortured and probably been killed. Now, maybe he makes a miraculous comeback, but I'm going to call him out on the glasses because there's just not a lot of eye doctors out there that are going to hook him right up. Heath didn't have small glasses. Heath had some thick glasses. And I would assume without those, he does not know what's going on. All right. So Heath and Sherry, that's going to be my big death prediction. But then I'm thinking that's going to be a little bit of a prelude that we're going to start to see some of that storyline. And then, as I mentioned, I think Maggin's a nice combination. Maggie and Aaron, if they ever get together, you got Maggin. Maggie, Aaron, and I got to take Rosita off the list now. You guys have convinced me that Rosita may get Father G's death a little bit later on when the whisper attack actually happens. So if I've got to sub another person in there, I'm going to say Alden. I'm going to say Alden is out there. I think he's going to be making his move on Maggie. That's possible, Jamie. You could have some eye associates out there. That I feel to be true. So Bryn Gilligan says that could be how Dwight gets back and starts to lead the group of the Saviors. So let's think about some of the mild spoiler information that's out there. So we know Maggie is protecting the hilltop a little bit more. You can agree or disagree. But her and Rick will have, there'll be more of a separation because Maggie's keeping more supplies. She could help the other groups more, but she's trying to intentionally starve out the Saviors. She doesn't want to send food to the Saviors. So Dwight could very much take over and lead the Saviors. He could rebuild that group. Might have something to fight for. Might see Dwight get a little bit of redemption. So I think those work out. And I'm just going to throw this one out there for kicks. So I've got Gregory, Maggie, Aaron, Alden, Sherry, Heath, Rosita. All right, you know what? You guys convinced me to keep Rosita around just a little bit longer. But I got to give you one more death to get to my 7. I'm going to say, and it's not going to be a complete shock, but the way it's going to go down, to me, is going to establish complete evil. I'm going to say it's Father G. And here's why I'm going to say Father G. And I know Dawn of the Frank, I'm not going to say Tara. I do think I think it's a little bit of a running joke to keep Tara alive. Not that she's not a good actor, but I just think that people have said her story is done and they should move on beyond it, but I think we're going to keep Tara around. Also because I like to see Pete D come in some of these chats and say, when are they getting rid of Tara? I'm going to tell you why I think it's Father G. Because there are very few things as evil as skinning a priest. That's about as rough as you can get. I think Father G will put a lot of faith in the fact that he can solve a situation. I think that he will roll into it and try to reason, rationalize, negotiate, affect all of those things. And I think a brutal, epic torture of Father G would be absolutely awesome for Seth Gilliam. And because I think that it would define his character. We've seen him we've seen the turning his back on his congregation. We've seen his faith. We've seen his faith get him through things recently. And I think if his faith could not get him through the whispers, the effect it would have on the audience, because I like him at this point. I didn't like him in the beginning. I really like his character, and I like me some Father G. But imagine how evil we would look at the whispers if a character's really started to grow on us that we've been through a lot with, and they just skinned him. I mean, that would be rough. And I don't know what the whispers are capable of or what level of torture, but I would just like to see Seth Gilliam on a talk show afterwards and just talk about all the emotions and all the different scenarios of Father G and what he did and what he couldn't do and how ultimately evil beat him. And I think that would be a very dark part of The Walking Dead, because we've started to get a little bit of faith in The Walking Dead, and it's a very dark world right now. So you bring in an enemy that is just that evil. And I also think this. You've seen a lot of times good versus evil. But wouldn't you think that would also set up a Negan storyline, that the only way that you could beat evil is with more evil? Think about that. How do you guys feel about that? Father G, epic, brutal death after we get these little Easter eggs along the way. We get Sherry, we get Heath, we get some other people, and then the arrogance and the faith combined of Father G moving in, and then a group that just doesn't want to be a part of it, doesn't want to hear it. And at that point, they realize that it's going to take something diabolical to beat pure evil. Now, if that goes down, or any piece of that goes down, or any of those deaths go down, what is not to be super excited and super hyped about for season 9? I love Rick. Maybe Rick gets away. Maybe those things happen. But these, I think, are stories that the audience can get just in depth and analyze and talk about and be involved with without putting all our eggs in one character. And if we appreciate the story, we can get away from a character or two. And maybe the group needs pure evil because Rick can't do that at this point, because Rick has to try to carry out Carl's legacy. Rick's promise to Carl may make it very difficult for him to do what is necessary and what needs to be done. And I agree. Rick does not have to die in all of that. All right, I'm going to ask the group. We got an awesome group here, 150, 200 people. You guys could do me a favor. Hit that like button. And if you had a good time, if you like talking about The Walking Dead, if you like analyzing who may die, who may not die, we do talk about spoilers from time to time. We do a lot of predictions. Sometimes we incorporate the spoilers and the predictions. But if you're new here, thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate that. Hopefully you'll subscribe. You'll get involved with some of our chats. It's very interactive. I love your comments. I love what you guys bring to the channel. So I'm going to throw it out there one more time, and this is what I need you guys to do. You've given me your number of deaths, not your number. You give me your names. We've talked about some scenarios. So now I need a super bold prediction, not something that everybody's going to predict. Don't give me something we've talked about. Be risky with this. Don't be afraid to be wrong, even though it will be a permanent part of this video. I want you to take a character, and I want you to give me a death that is a very low percentage, but you would kind of get the credit for it if it happened the way that you said it happened. Maybe it's Negan. maybe something happens to Negan. It would shock people. So I'm going to read a couple of these because I want to be a part of the video. You've heard mine. You've heard kind of the direction I think it could, should, might not go. Beth, Rosita cuts Eugene's hair. Okay, that's a bold prediction. Libertarian Freak says, Carol dies. Maria, Jerry dies. How would Jerry die? Woo! Oh, Hippo, I'm showing it, but I don't think that'll happen. It is bold. Tommy says Sherry kills Dwight because she's a whisperer. Whew, that would be rough. Bold prediction, Tommy. Very bold. Lisa Khaleesi. I'm just going to call you Khaleesi. Rick kills someone thinking it's Shane. A little bit of flashback going on. A little bit of hallucinating. Casey, Sherry, come on. Jerry will not die eating his cobbler. Jerry is a professional eating cobbler. That's one thing I can promise you. That will not be his method of death. Dolores says Cindy kills Negan. Negan kills Rick. E. Beach. Daryl in a motorcycle accident. Daryl's good. Hippo, Maggie will not go into labor killing Negan because Maggie has already had baby Herschel. So if she goes into labor again, Alden's been making a few visits if she's going into labor a second time. Nicobe says Cindy kills Tara. Now, Lisa Bradley, Negan saves baby Herschel. And then Maggie takes the baby and leaves. A lot of interesting predictions here. No, Jamie, I don't think the Whisperers are going to drive up in an RV. I think, I don't see them driving up an RV and then springing out like, hey, we got your RV. Walking Dead Nerd says, and this is super chat, Michonne's head on a pike and she was pregnant. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about that for 1 second. What do you guys think about that? Michonne is killed. She had told Rick she was pregnant. We find out in a couple episodes, it's been a year. Hold on, it's been a year. We find out in episode 3, episode 4, that Michonne and Rick are going to have a baby. Michonne dies, and Rick leaves. Whew, that would be a rough setup, wouldn't it? That is a good theory. As much as I like Michonne, that would be very emotional. So I'm going to ask the group this, only because I love your theory. If it were to go down that way, if it were to go down the way that Walking Dead Nerd said, can you think of anything that you've seen at this point that would be more heartbreaking or more emotional and move the audience more than that? If you have, that's fine. Type it. But I'm going to tell you, just visualizing that when you said it, and thinking about how that would affect me watching it on television, that you see the opportunity for Rick and Michonne to start to build something, and that's really almost all he has left. Wow, that would be unbelievable. Yeah, you got me. Walking Dead nerd, you got me with that one. I don't think the writers have the guts to do it, but I got to tell you, if that played out, I think that would be a moment in television. That would definitely be one of the most memorable moments in the Walking Dead franchise. And Rick would definitely have enough. So, you know what? I'm going to leave it at that because that was absolutely amazing. Some very, very good comments. Thank you for all your interaction. We're about 50 minutes into the show tonight, so we run these 30, 45 minutes to an hour. We will do streams all throughout the week, so catch me if you can. If you happen to be online, we do very impromptu live streams. There's a topic that's out there. We'll log on. We'll have 3 to 5 minutes, and if you happen to be on, jump in really quickly. They're completely unannounced, so if you happen to get your comments in there, that's awesome. If not, always watch the playback. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys are paying attention for future streams because I will make announcements in those streams for some longer ones. We will be back tomorrow night with a little episode we call Random Things, and could be any 5 to 6 topics. There will be a Walking Dead topic mixed in there, so bring your A game, but we'll be all over the place. It gives us a chance to sort of hang out, get to know each other a little bit more. It's kind of our Tuesday night relaxation session. So if you guys had a good time tonight, thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow night. Do me a favor. If you're watching the playback, this is the closing credits, so you can go ahead and take off, leave some comments. If you are still here, give me a quick 999 in chat because I want to give as many shout-outs as we possibly can. I probably can't hit everybody that's in the stream right now, but I'll get as many as I can, as fast as I can, and thank you so much. So I want to say what's up to Dwayne Sharp, Hippo in the house, Carol Leathers, Eric C., David Brooks, Sergeant Chosen One, Valar, Michelle, Gene Atkins, Captain Crawfish, Jamie Jordan of the 999, Football Stuff Worldwide, Tammy Heitzman, Brian McAndrew, thank you, Brian, DDA Ohio, eBeach72, Libertarian, thank you, Zelda Faz, Muddy Productions, The Cat Nat, Howling Wolf, Lenore Smith, Cammie, Lisa Bradley, Kelly Golonzinier, Willani, Maria Favada, Golden Arms, Emma McCalick. Emma, this is like 2 or 3 streams in a row for you. You better be careful. You're going to get addicted to this channel before long. Ron Burgundy, Lakeisha Faison, thank you for being here. Gina Crockett, Backfire 3851, B Loves 999, and The Walking Dead. Dakota Page, Stefanella, Graffiti Saint, Ren Gilligan, Maurice Gamble, Mambo 55, a little bit of Mambo in my life. Bob D, David Tanner, thank you, David. Also, who else we got? We got all the Patreons you guys can see over to the left. A brand new Patreon. We're calling her CP. Thank you so much. All the sponsors. And some people are sponsors, Patreons, and Super Chatters. You can see Captain Crawfish is saying, 5 more minutes, Dad. It's not a school night. It is a school night, but it's summertime, so there's no school. And it'll probably take me 5 minutes to get through the streams. I'll do a few more. And if there happens to be a comment in there we'll address, we'll make it roll a little bit longer. Northside Queen, thank you. I know I missed you last night. Deborah Mooney, appreciate you being here. Who else we got? My moderators. Moderators are awesome. Special shout out for them. Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kels, Bumblebee Brown. You can see that. EL is here from South Korea. Wow. Annyeonghaseyo to EL. There's my Korean introduction. Good to have you. We're all over the place. So you guys can see we got representation. Canada, I know I got a Canadian crowd up there. We got some people watching the playback, and sometimes we get live in England. And you can see that we're now branching out to South Korea. So, awesome. Ah, look at that. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Ohio. E-Beach, I was not aware that you couldn't super chat in iOS. Jimmy's jamming, I see you. The Walking Dead Nerd 13, Justin Barrett. The Army is strong in Florida. I heard that. I heard we got some representation down in Florida. So thank you for that. 3 a.m. stream. Maurice, you don't have to tell me exactly where you are, but give me a ballpark. Where is it 3 a.m.? Maurice said, baby, it's 3 a.m. I must be lonely. You know what? Yeah, if you guys like just some random stuff, join Random Things tomorrow. North Carolina, Illinois, Alabama. The Velvet Hammer, the Alabama Slammer. There you go. There's a movie line. There you go. Crawfish. There's your extra 5 minutes. So give me the movie that's from. Coral, you go with me, Sean. I miss that. New Jersey, awesome. We got a couple people from Jersey here. Good job. Look at Kel. Kel's all over the movie quotes. Louisiana, New York, awesome. California, Boston. See, this is better than the shout-outs because now we show that, I got to tell you, if you watch some of our streams, though, the reach and how tight-knit this group is for being all over the place, just different backgrounds, different areas of the country, different areas of the world. Appreciate that. Very humbled whenever I see that stuff. All right, everybody, you guys have a wonderful night. There will probably be just one of those quick streams either later tonight, tomorrow morning, tomorrow night. You know, it'll pop up. If you don't catch it live, get involved in the playback. And then tomorrow night we'll do Random Things, and then we'll be back full scale with The Walking Dead also on Wednesday. So most nights, 9:30 is a good time. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I will talk to you at least once tomorrow night. Peace.